place has turned into Drone City. I'm going to have to get one of them myself sometime. At the moment I just have to duck everyone else's. Welcome to March. By all accounts, the beginning of the photography season each year in the Pacific Northwest. The month where the steady rain and dark gray skies come to an end and the sun comes out and the flowers begin to bloom. Well, if you look around right now, we're not seeing much in terms of sun, but supposedly it's the location I'm heading for, the area around LeConner and Mount Vernon, north of Seattle. The sun should be out. I'm heading up there to photograph the daffodil fields that have come into bloom, and if all goes well, possibly head down to Rosario Beach for sunset. See how it goes. I'm certainly hoping that the weather forecast is correct and isn't as gray as it is right now. It's not going to be much fun, but we shall see. Well, I hope you enjoyed the brief glimpses of sunlight on the trip, because we're down here and it's completely gray again. But I'm not going to worry about it, because according to the weather forecast, we should be getting some clearer skies the next couple of hours, and we have plenty of time. In the interim, I'll try and take some close-up shots of the daffodils and see how that turns out. So this is the first field I'm at here. As you can see, people are out already for this. That tree over there is a nice feature. It'd be a nice feature to have in the background on some of these shots, but unfortunately, well, I think you'll have to come back on a day when they don't have any cars parked in front of it. As I said, the light should be improving shortly, or at least the next couple of hours. In the meantime, if it turns out not to do so, I can at least use this as a scouting trip and come back in the next few days. But for the time being, I'm going to see if I can get some close-up shots. As you can see, I've exchanged my sandals for hiking shoes, because if there's one thing that's for sure, it's going to be muddy in these fields. Frankly, I'm really not all that sure about this photo. It might be nice in better light, but I'm going to try it anyway. It's currently at 1/40th of a second at f11. I've got a 16 to 70 lens, which is probably out at about, looks like about 25 right now. And ISO 100, I've got a circular polarizer at, and I'm using a 2-second self-timer. Now, as luck would have it, a breeze has come up, so I've had to bump up the ISO somewhat, because obviously if I were to shoot at ISO 100, I would probably have a lot of motion blur on close-ups. So I've moved it up to auto, which will probably take up to about 400. Here's an example of one shot I have. It's at 1/160th of a second, so it should be fast enough for anything. And I will take it now. I should note that when you're doing telephoto shots on fields like this, even f11 is going to have pretty poor depth of field. It's got to be really precisely in one area. So what you need to do is, as I'm doing, is pick out a single bloom that really looks good and go into focus magnifying mode and use manual focus to make sure that that particular bloom is tack sharp and all the rest can be out of focus. Well, I just had to stop and get some gas. I've driven around all 4 of the fields that are currently in bloom. 2 of them really aren't well suited for compositions of any kind at this point, so that leaves the one I was just at, and one other one which looks promising. Since the light's starting to improve a little bit, I think, I'm going to go over there and try and get set up for some shots at that spot. Okay, right now I'm parked at the other field. I'm looking right at a really nice composition. At least it will be so if we actually get the light. It's looking right down the rows toward a farm in the background. If the light gets good, the clouds break up a bit, it's going to be a really nice shot. If not, it's going to be pretty much worthless. So I'm just going to sit here and wait for it to clear up a bit. And now it looks like we're actually starting to get some light out there, so time to go out. Well, this isn't the shot I had originally planned, but the light came out at just the right moment. And so here we have it. Got polarized on, dark in the sky. Got white 100 ISO, 1/100th of a second at f11. And now there's another shot I'm going to try taking over here. Here's a very traditional vertical shot, taking it right down along the rows toward an object in the background. Now, to make sure I'm getting the maximum depth of field, I'm going to focus stack a series here, taking one focus on the background and several a bit further up each time. I'll blend them together and see how it works. Now, as I did at the last field, I'm putting on a telephoto and going to take some close-up shots, hopefully this time with the daffodils backlit by the sun. Well, now I'm in a bit of a quandary because according to Skyfire, we're supposed to get halfway decent light for sunset over at Rosario Beach. Now they're saying we won't get it as much. So I'm not sure whether I should just stay here and hope we get decent golden hour light at this spot, which is also dubious, or whether I should go over there and just wind up possibly getting nothing at all. I'll probably wind up going over there myself right now and figure that if the sunset light is bad, well, maybe we'll be able to get something interesting during blue hour, maybe a long exposure or something. Just have to see what happens. Unfortunately, I can see the problem right here. If you look over at the beach itself, you can see the clouds have kind of drifted away, but there's a thick marine layer right on the horizon that will pretty much blot out any light as the sun is reaching sunset point. So I don't think we're going to get anything here today at all. I've been to this beach several times and I've only rarely gotten good results, so maybe I'm jinxed here, who knows. Well, I'm going to walk around and see if there are any other vantage points that I could use for something before we have to pick up and leave. So let's try and see what happens. Well, I haven't given up yet, but it's not really looking too good at the moment. First of all, I had the brilliant idea of maybe doing a vertical panorama here. And even made sure that I had the tripod perfectly level and all that. And then it suddenly occurred to me that it's probably not a good idea to try and stitch a bunch of shots together when you have the waves coming in the whole time, because it's going to be very strange to have waves in different positions at each moment, at each part of the frame. So that kind of goes by the boards right now. And I'm just trying to see if there's anything else around on this side. And of course we have this sculpture here that would be nice if it was at the right time of day. This is one that'd be good at morning. But I'm just going to keep looking around, and I don't know. Hopefully we'll get something, because it's kind of a waste of time otherwise. But that's part of landscape photography, let's face it. Well, this may not be a great shot, but at least it looks like a good shot. So the vertical capture of the trees, and they're silhouetted against the sky. Obviously circular polarizer, 1/60th of a second at f11, and 2/3 of a stop down on exposure compensation. When you get a horizontal composition, you can always go for vertical. After a little experimentation, I found this is about the best composition. As you notice, the furthest tree in toward the water is just about at the right 2/3 line. Got the circular polarizer on. The lens is a 1650. It's at about 30 millimeters right now, I'd say. And we've got it at 1/60th of a second, f11, with about 1/3 of a stop exposure compensation. I decided to get a shot of the Maiden of Deception Pass after all, because the light seemed pretty decent. I've got the Maiden centered on the 1/3 line on the left. Got the lens extended all the way out to 50 millimeters. And it's f11, 1/15th of a second. Got exposure compensation -1 stop, because otherwise the light in the sky on the right tends to blow it out a bit. Well, the sun is just about to go down, and I'm going to get the best sunset picture I can get under the circumstances, which is this. So you see, 1/60th of a second, f11. Still have a circular polarizer on, don't know quite why, but I haven't taken off yet. Give it a try. Well, after getting the sunset shots, I tried some blue hour shots with the 10-stop filter. Don't know if it came out very good. You'll see the shots at the end of this. Hope you enjoy them. I'll see you next time.